Hello everyone, this is Nimish. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss the web series Ashram that is streaming on MX Player starring Bobby Deol, directed by Prakash Jha. This is a very controversial yet very entertaining show that I wanted to talk about. And so we're going to talk about the 5 reasons people should watch. We should all watch. You should watch Ashram. So let's dive right into it straight away. The show is obviously about a couple of characters that get drawn to a big godman's ashram. What happens in the process in all of their lives, whether they are the characters that are drawn to the ashram, that are characters that are already in the ashram, the godman himself and his connections and relations, everything comes together in this show. The first reason that you should watch Ashram is because of the director Prakash Jha. Prakash Jha is the director that has made movies like Ganga Aparan, Rajniti, which was a super success, Satyagraha, Arakshan, etc. He is a very well-known, renowned Bollywood movie director. And I think when it comes to web series, a lot of us don't think about who's directing the show. It's mostly about who the actors are, what the concept of the show is, and what the reviews are and ratings are of the show, but not so much about who directed the show. And I think that's something that mainly happens because not many big directors get themselves involved. For example, season 1 of Sacred Games was Anurag Kashyap and Vikramaditya Motwane. Very well-known fact, established fact, and they marketed it that way so people wanted to watch it, obviously apart from the concept of Sacred Games. But here as well, Prakash Jha being at the helm of affairs is something very attractive. And after a couple of rough sort of patch in movies, he made movies like Jai Gangajal, even Arakshan didn't hit the mark back in the day. Satyagraha didn't necessarily hit the mark. So he tried to make a lot of movies in recent times that may or may not have hit the mark. However, I think that with Ashram, he has really come back in his best possible form ever. The complete aspect of web series, directing it as, let's call it filmmaking, filmmaking aspects, storytelling aspects, focusing on the writing, the narration, the graph of the whole show. Really well made, well directed, etc. So something to watch out for. The comeback of this director Prakash Jha is really interesting. Second reason we should all watch Ashram is because this is probably one of the best performances by Bobby Deol. He has done such a calm, composed, nuanced act. Now, not to say that his performance is outstanding, Oscar worthy, or any such thing, but in today's world where a lot of debates are happening around these new stars, young stars, nepotism, unfair practices, fair practices, older people, newer people, all of this debate happening all over, it is very imperative that these actors live up to their name, the work they are getting, the projects they are getting, and make the audience feel that they are doing a good job in the position that they are in. Bobby Deol made a comeback recently with a couple of big budget films like Race and Houseful. However, obviously there was no performance needed in those films, nothing great, not a big deal of a comeback. And in movies like that, he sort of played on his strengths and as well as the sort of cinema acting that he always does. Over here, he completely transforms into this godman and gives a very calm, peaceful, nuanced act that's very internalized, as opposed to making a lot of faces or using a lot of body language, which you might have seen him do in many movies. So really well cast in the first place by the filmmakers, the web series makers, and he has really lived up to that particular role. His basic character of in historical past, his characters of playing both positive and negative shades has come together well and helped his role and really enhanced his performance. And since this is point number 2 that you should watch it for Bobby Deol's very unique performance, all other performances in the show as well are extremely natural, extremely worthy of watching. There's Aditi Pohankar, there's so many other good young generation actors that are doing well in other web series as well that you might have seen them in, that are in here. They are all, delivering delivering a great natural sort of acting in this particular show. The third reason that I felt Ashram was pretty worthy to watch is the detailing in the cinematography. The consistent use of red and green throughout the show is very interesting because it tells me that they have put in that effort to design the sets, design the look of the movie, design the costumes to a detailed extent, focus on the camera work, the lighting, the shading in post production. They have focused on all these elements, which is really important because web series, the way they are coming out now, there are so many. Every second day there is a new web series coming out. You not necessarily see them focus so much on the technical front. This tells me that there's a lot of planning gone into making the particular show. The set of the ashram is stunning. If they have used a certain degree of VFX, that is also working really well and extremely naturally. And then even in the ashram, and whether it's the chair, the table, what's on the table, if you notice all of that, there's a lot of detailing gone into making this setup look realistic. So I really enjoyed those technical aspects of Ashram. The fourth reason that I liked Ashram is because unlike most of the content we are putting out now, that usually falls in two categories. One is it's either a thriller, a murder mystery, a suspense, an action thriller, such as Asur, Sacred Games, Patal Lok. All of these shows breathe into the shadows. They're all in the thriller genre. And then the other side of it is this sort of romantic drama sort of genre. Not romantic comedies necessarily, just romance, drama, family drama, whether it's Made in Heaven, Bandish Bandits, all these other shows are falling in that category. The two primary genres that are operating. We don't get to see something out of the box creative. Although these are all good shows and entertaining, we have sort of not gone beyond those two genres, and I think Ashram really does that well. Who would have thought that you could make an entire series on Godmen and all of that area of life? You would not have predicted that, and that is something that is pretty interesting and intriguing, that they could think out of the box and develop an entire extremely thrilling story around it. And speaking of the genre, it's not just pure drama or pure realistic drama for the sake of it. It's got suspense, it's got family relationships, it's got the obvious drama element of the whole situation, but it's very gripping and thrilling and entertaining in various different ways. So it tackles a lot of topics, it tackles a lot of issues, it tackles a lot of content and genres together to make it something thoroughly entertaining. And that's why I liked, to step out of the usual genres and watch something that is very different. Last but not the least, the reason you should watch Ashram, especially during COVID, is because it seems like they have already shot season 2. At the end of season 1, they give you a glimpse into what's to come in season 2. And that to me is very exciting because it does not tell you that the project has been stopped. There are many web shows in India that I liked a lot in season 1. They didn't necessarily work, or they didn't necessarily feel like doing a season 2. So they changed their minds or scrapped the plans, maybe because of public response. And so there was never a season 2. So it's always sort of a lost opportunity, a missed opportunity. And you keep wondering whether they'll ever make one or not. And you kind of feel bad about it. But over here, they've literally, it seems like they've shot it because they're showing you a trailer of season 2 already, a very detailed trailer at the end of season 1. And to me that's exciting because that's like investing your time that you spend hours, 6 to 7 hours or 8 hours that you spend watching season 1. You're investing all that time knowing that there will be a season 2 confirmed, guaranteed, and you can watch something, and look forward to something. So overall, thorough entertainment, great performances, great storytelling, great technicals. It's based in a realistic sort of setup, and at the same time, as many of the controversies suggest, it is not at all based on just exposing certain people or certain situation or certain facts. Prakash Jha is a completely different kind of director. He's not like Madhur Bhandarkar, who makes movies like Page 3, Fashion, etc. and blatantly sort of puts realistic situations in there where you know that he's talking about someone, he's talking about this person, that person, this situation, etc. He puts in dialogues to sort of pull the audiences and puts in those tricks to make the audiences go like, oh, he's talking about this person, look at that, he's exposing people. Prakash Jha doesn't use those techniques at all. He's just making a completely fictional fictional story based very specific to the characters in the story. Maybe they're inspired all over the place from whatever stories we've read and heard, both good, bad, realistic, but it's really not a commentary on anything. It just is a story of this god man, the Ashram, the characters, more importantly, more than him. It's the characters that, what happens to them and how they go through things. So it's a very interesting sort of web series that I thoroughly enjoyed watching on MX Player. It is my first MX Player web series and I'm pretty thrilled about it. So I'm going with 4 out of 5 for Ashram as a web series. I hope you like this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching for more.